Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Over the past 17 years, our guest has been working as a school teacher who has seen an increase in stress and anxiety in teachers, students, and their families, and also witnessed firsthand how trauma and anxiety impacts families. And today she's going to show you and your children how to overcome the fear of separation. Please put your hands together and help us welcome to the Mental Detox podcast our good friend Meagan Goodes.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you
Thanks for having me.
Now, we know that coronavirus is sweeping the world. Your local Woolworths and Coles has no toilet paper.
Correct.
And I'm sure that's creating a lot of drama for people. But you've witnessed firsthand how trauma and anxiety impacts families. And from what I know about you is that your son's biological mother suddenly and tragically passed away. And he became riddled with anxiety to such a point that it was almost impossible to get him to school. Could you talk us through this struggle?
Yeah, it's pretty horrendous. Obviously, I've seen as a teacher as well, I've seen the separation as being a teacher, but being on the other side is a whole other ballgame. He obviously the first year, so he was in prep, so his first year of school, it happened in September. So the last few months of prep weren't so bad because he had the consistency, teachers and friends. The next year is when it started. So when he first started grade 1, I dropped him off at school and it was full screaming, it was crying, it was the teachers having to hold him back and restrain him while his arms are outstretched calling for me. So obviously as a mum and as a teacher, it was just absolutely horrendous. There were days that were really bad. There'd be screaming matches because he just had so much anxiety, not wanting to go to school. He would actually say the words, I don't want to leave you, I'm scared you're not going to pick me up, which is completely understandable since his mum unexpectedly passed away and all of a sudden he couldn't go and see her. So for me, obviously that was very traumatic, and I know I wanted to help him. So that's when I found lots of different techniques to be able to do that.
I'm just imagining this in my mind's eye of how traumatic this would be for the child not to be able to see their mother and father again.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sorry.
We can see these things, but what are the things that we don't see behind closed doors? What happens to the child once they're away and they're back at home? What's happening there? Is it the same behaviours or are they different behaviours?
No, it would be the same. So there was some other underlying things like fear of change, fear of the unknown, which obviously kind of come together with the fact of the fear of separation. So there's often other things that underlie it. It might not be the separation is the root cause. There could be something else that's happened. But obviously in this instance with the fact that his mum passed away, that was a significant event in his life. And from that, other fears started to take hold. And so, yeah, we would see if we wanted to go out and, he was doing sport, he was doing Auskick and he didn't want to go and do that, or he didn't want to go to parties, or he just became he's a very quiet and shy, sensitive child as well. But this kind of made it even worse because he didn't want to go outside those boundaries. He wanted to stay, by our sides, I suppose, in a way to make sure that we were going to stay around.
And I know that, Meagan, for you're being, teacher for 17 years. What changes are you seeing in the school system for both students, parents, or teacher? Do you think it is getting better or getting worse? Because
Yeah, I think there's definitely some positive changes. I know there's definitely a lot of school workshops and things that are out there about mental health and resilience. Yeah. So they're techniques that can help in the moment. They're not necessarily techniques that will actually resolve the full stress, but to be able to teach and empower children and teachers and parents to be able to use techniques themselves in the moment to be able to feel calmer and less stressed is great. But I think there's also that other side where they do need to not just do those things that help in the moment, they actually need to work on resolving what the actual core trigger is, or the core stress, or the underlying belief.
We saw a situation recently when one of our clients, they moved their business premises. They also moved house, and their daughter was moved into a new school. And then she had a sudden weight gain. Is this something that's quite common, and what could lead to that?
So weight gain is usually a protection thing. So there could be a lot of fears underneath that. So that can happen in any facet, with workers, clients, parents, not just children as well. So when we're looking at weight gain, we're looking at, as all fears and as all conditions, we're looking at what the underlying thing is. So possibly because there was a big move for her, she moved away from friends, she started a new school, and whatever else is going on in the mum's life as well can also create stress with the children. What we often don't realise is that often our children are very sensitive to picking up on our emotions as well. So as a parent, we need to actually work on ourselves. And a lot of my clients, I work on the parents before I work on the children, because I often find that if I work with the parents first, often the children's symptoms actually subside because the children are picking up on their parents' feelings. So it's important for us to work on ourselves.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. Even we see a lot of, from our clients, that when they talk about when their childhood, how the parents treat them or address them. And then now even they grow up as an adult, they're still like hunting them.
Yes.
But something else that you mentioned, and there's no connection here at whatsoever. Minnie loves watching the show, The Dog Whisperer with Caesar Milan. Yeah. And the same thing is when he comes to work on the animal for the animal's behavior problem, he focuses a lot of his attention on the owners. Yeah. And he's saying that because of the way that the owners are responding and acting, the dog's just reflecting that. And most of the changes that we can see him making are with the owner of the dog, the person who's leading. So I've seen this in our clients as well. I agree.
Yeah, and it's absolutely the same thing with pets as well. They feel the emotions like children do as well. So work on ourselves first, and it can help our family.
Well, my dog's been losing weight, so hopefully I follow very shortly. She's the one who's leading. For the mums and dads and for the children's out there, is there any practical ideas that you could show us today to help reduce this fear of separation?
Yeah, absolutely. There's an amazing, powerful and empowering technique called EFT tapping, or also called emotional freedom technique. This has got scientific studies, many different studies showing what it does. Now, it has been proven to reduce anxiety up to 24% within an hour just of tapping. So basically what you do is you actually tap on certain pressure points on your body, and I'll go through this process in a second. While you're talking through, it's bringing up those emotions as we're talking. By tapping on the points, it actually starts to release those feelings and dissipate them. So the best thing to do, I'm going to do it slightly differently with you today, but for those people at home, all they have to do is tap through the points and talk through how they're feeling. That's the easiest thing to do, but I'll show you the full thing that I do with my clients. So we always start on the side of the hand called the karate chop point, and we just tap on the side. Yep, perfect. And so I'll get you guys to copy what I say and what I do as well. So if you can say, even though I have this separation, so keep tapping, even though I have this separation, I'm going to accept myself as much as I can.
I'm going to accept myself as much as I can.
Even though I have this separation anxiety.
Even though I have this separation anxiety.
I'm going to accept myself as much as I can.
I'm going to accept myself as much as I can.
There's one more. Even though I have this separation anxiety.
Even though I have this separation anxiety.
I'm going to accept myself as much as I can.
I'm going to accept myself as much as I can.
Okay, so top of the head, all this anxiety.
All this anxiety.
And then the eyebrows, so it's just the inner eyebrows here. All this anxiety.
All this anxiety.
And the side of the eye. All this anxiety.
All this anxiety.
Under the eye, feeling all this fear.
Feeling all this fear.
All this anxiety.
All this anxiety.
I have all this fear.
Have all this fear.
And the next one's the collarbone. I have all this anxiety.
I have all this anxiety.
And the last point is actually just under the arm, sort of where the bra strap is for a lady. So the last one would be, I have all this anxiety.
I got my bra on.
So So that is literally the process. So to make it easier for people at home, literally don't worry about the setup statement. You can just start talking and tapping through. And the children are really susceptible to this, so they really love it because it actually helps them feel calmer. But yeah, I've created lots of different videos on different topics, some with children as well as adults as well. So I do have some short follow-along videos. But the most powerful thing is to basically talk through how you're feeling, because I did a very general one then. Obviously, some people might have have different feelings around that, so they can just talk and tap.
Awesome. So when the people doing this exercise, like how many times they have to do it? Is like when they feel anxiety is coming out, they can do it?
Yeah, it's a good question. Yeah, good question. So I usually do about 3 rounds, and then I just sit with it and then see, because most people feel emotions in their body. So see if there's still some sort of emotion, or if you're still feeling scattered, and then do it again. So the aim is, so what you can do at the start is you can actually rate it. A lot of people don't realize it's helped them. So what you can do is at the start, rate it out of 10. So 10 is the highest. So I'm feeling 10 anxiety. So write it down, do 3 rounds of tapping, and then rate it again. So maybe it's a 6. So just keep trying and doing it until you get to a 0 or 1. You might not be able to get to a 0, because a 0 usually means you need to get to the root cause. So that's obviously when I work with the deeper stuff. But for in the moment, this is a really great tool for you to help feel calmer. It could be even, for interviews, or, feeling frustrated, angry, sad, anxiety, anything. So
This would have been good for you yesterday.
I know. What happened to me yesterday? I forgot.
I'm going to Malaysia, and he's not.
Oh, that's true.
Really? I was going to say, well, you can use it for focus and concentration too. I used it with some of my students. So, and you can use it for everything.
Yeah.
For the mums and dads who'd like to learn more about what you do and how it can work for them, your website is mindfulhealingtoolkit.com.au. So they can head over there. And if they'd like to get more specific with you, can they reach out to you personally through the website?
Yes, absolutely. Or also my Facebook page. Both website and Facebook page have those free follow-along videos with different topics. So if there's a topic that they really want me to do, then also let me know that as well, and I'll create a video for it.
Wonderful. Well, Meagan, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and your ideas, and also giving us a demonstration on EFT. That was amazing. Thank you. I was a little bit sleepy before, but I actually feel awake. I was trying to drink coffee to wake up, but I actually feel awake now. I feel really good.
Perfect. Great.
Have my wrinkles gone? I think that my wrinkles are.
You're looking younger already.
Thank you very much, Meagan. Thank you for sharing this.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Have a wonderful day.
Bye.
Bye.